Welcome back to the Duncanville Fieldhouse for the second of our two Wednesday games, the NTX International Combine. Alongside Dave Benz, my name is Evan Weston. Game one just wrapped up moments ago. The Spurs, coached by Sean Respert, knocking off Mo Evans' Grizzlies 84-79, 25 points for BYU's Rudy Williams. Now, game number two as Melvin Hunt's Sixers take on Mike James' Rockets. Our two eight-player teams, so we'll see a little bit more rotation in this game. Dave, what are you looking forward to?
You know, I'm just looking forward to seeing if the intensity in this game can match the intensity in the first one. I was really impressed by the way that the guys were. There was a whole lot of want to, right? And there was a whole lot of not giving up on plays. And that needs to carry over. These guys now, I don't know how much they saw that first game, but they need to match the intensity that we saw and really, see if they can put on as much of a show for these scouts as the teams did in game one.
It really was a very fun matchup. For more on the NTX International Combine, let's go to Kendra Sheehan.
Thanks, Evan. This is a fantastic opportunity for players looking to receive NBA looks as well as international contracts. There's been several success stories from NTX alumni. Look at Quentin Rose, who currently plays for the Westchester Knicks, which is the NBA G League affiliate to the New York Knicks. He's played in 31 games this past year. He averages over 9 points per game. He's an alumni. He participated in a camp like this and was able to get some exposure, which is what a lot of guys out here are doing. There's lots of international scouts, NBA scouts here looking to pick up some good talent. Evan?
Thanks, Kendra. Some interesting players in this game. A former second-team All-ACC star at the University of Virginia, Jaden Gardner, will play for the Sixers, as well as the reigning AAC Sixth Man of the Year, Reggie Chaney, from the #1 team in the country in the regular season, Houston Cougars, a guy who played over 100 games for Kelvin Sampson. Meanwhile,
Reggie Chaney, really an interesting guy, because if you look at his college career, Evan, I think, and this is, if I'm a scout, this is the thing that I'm looking at. If you look at his numbers, and granted, it's about more than just numbers, but if you look at his numbers statistically, his best year in playing 5 years of college basketball was his freshman year. He played 5 years of college basketball, and his best year was his freshman year. Can he show that there's some growth there for him to be able to get back to the form he had early in his college career?
interesting guy, never got hurt. 166 games at the college level with the extra year with the pandemic. 2 years at Arkansas, 3 years for Kelvin Sampson at Houston.
Yeah, 35 games, just one start last year. Never attempted a three-pointer in college, so don't look for him to be lighting it from beyond the arc.
And like he did at the college level, he will come off the bench here. The Sixers are in white. Looks like Brendan Adams, Michael Cooper, Boogie Anderson, Ricky Lindo Jr., and Isaiah Moore will get the starts for the Sixers. The Rockets will roll out Umoja Gibson, Desi Sills, Kong, Kevin Samuel, who tips it up here, and Sage Tolbert III. And it is Tolbert.
Kevin Samuel, the biggest player here in terms of height at 7 feet.
Bounced around in college. He's out of Barbuda, went to Florida Gulf Coast, and ended up at South Alabama. The turnover on the first possession for the Rockets. Here goes the fleet-footed Boogie Anderson Jr., and one to start the game.
Nice aggressive drive there from Boogie, originally out of the Phoenix area. Last year, a career-low field goal percentage for him. Shot it at just 49%.
Misses the free throw. Anderson played last year at Southeastern Louisiana. Now Kong out of Kentucky State scores the first two for the Rockets the other way. And a three rattles home for Isaiah Moore, the 6'10" stretch big from Fresno State. And another three. We saw the shooting looked really good in the first half of the first game. There's Umoja Gibson out of DePaul, former Oklahoma Sooner, who knocks that one down. Another three out of the corner. It's good.
I'll tell you what, these teams are not caring about the extra distance from three-point range.
Brendan Adams, the most improved player in the A-10 last year. More than doubled his points per game. They dump it to Samuel, and he's fouled. Ricky Lindo Jr. came in and got some arm, and Samuel will shoot a pair.
Brendan Adams and Ricky Lindo Jr. were teammates at George Washington, so they've got some familiarity with each other.
Adams, also a former member of the current national champions, the UConn Huskies.
He spent 2 years there. Meantime, you got Samuel, who did play in Portsmouth a couple of weeks ago.
The free throws are not his strength.
27% last season.
No, he is has never been his forte. He is a big body, though, 7 foot, 260.
Former A-Sun Defensive Player of the Year. The knock on him is that he might need to exhibit a little bit more range, but right now not part of his repertoire. But that is part of his repertoire.
That's exactly what he does. That big long arm sets up a three. It is no good for Sills. Rebound to Anderson. Here goes Cooper. Tried to get the slam. Instead, they'll just get it to Moore for a secondary flush. He's got 5. And another steal for Cooper. Michael Cooper going the other way. And it's Moore again. He's got 7.
Man, he's fun to watch. Just attacking the rim and getting set up well. That's going to be an offensive foul. That's an obvious call. And, you know, as nice a job as Cooper did getting in position, that's really just a blatant push off with the offensive arm, and that's a play you cannot make.
Second foul on the Rockets. We'll see it again here. Yep, just you can't do that. There's Isaiah Moore. It's off to a great start. Little short on the three from Cooper. Samuel swallows up the rebound. Moore played 5 years at 5 different colleges. If you can believe it.
I can believe it.
Yeah. There's a foul on, I think that's going to be on Lindo Jr.
Although with Moore's athletic ability, you wonder why he moved around so much.
So at the College of Charleston as a freshman, then he played a year in junior college and was an All-American. Went to St. John's, part-time player, then went to Southern Miss, had a really good year, averaged 13 and 7, and then last year played his final season at Fresno State, where he averaged 11 and 7 on 54% shooting. One free throw goes. .12-6 game. Anderson spins, shoots, a little bit short. Rebounded by Gibson. Lobbed ahead, Sills can't hang on to it. Tried to tap it back to Sage Tolbert III, and now it's Moore on the other end. I think Samuel got a piece of that.
Yeah, nice hustle by Samuel to close down the court.
3 for Gibson, in and out. And Kong can't get the rebound. It'll go the other way.
A frenetic pace going on right now for both of these teams.
And we'll see our first sub as Tolbert steps off. Davian Williamson, a Winston-Salem native out of Lake Forest. He's a 6 foot, 180-pound guard playing in the ACC. There is Adams. Knifes his way in for 2 more. He's got 5. He's had a terrific final season at George Washington. 2 on the other end for Sills.
Yeah, Sills showing no reluctance to get in there amongst the bigs.
Samuel knocked that away, but he couldn't save it. 14 to shoot for the Sixers.
I'm loving seeing this battle inside, though, between Moore and Samuel. A couple of bigs. We didn't really have that in the first game.
Two very different types of big man. Samuel's got about 65 pounds on Moore. Moore for three. That's way short. He did make 8 of them last year on 24 tries. Here goes Williamson. Gets it back from Kong. Oh, did that thought cross the mind of Gibson to try that from several feet behind the line? He ends up traveling.
Yeah, once he changed his mind on shooting the shot, he didn't really have a lot of options.
Sixers with a 6-point lead and the ball. The screen from Moore, gets the handoff from Cooper. Beautiful pick and roll.
And it's been the Isaiah Moore show right now.
He has 9 of the 16. He's outscoring the Rockets by himself. Here's a three. Williamson. Smooth stroke from Davian Williamson.
Career 38.5% three-point shooter at the college level. They're going to get a foul here.
That'll be the third on the Rockets here in this first half. Moore takes a seat with 9 points in his first 5 minutes and 9 seconds on the floor.
And now it's gotten a little bit sloppy here, Evan.
F.A. Odeji is checked in for the Sixers squad. Here is Kong. Another three for Williamson, wide open, but he missed it. Lindo Jr. the rebound. Lobbed ahead. Odeji can't hang on to it.
Man, some big bodies right now out there. Lindo Jr.'s got some size. Odeji's got some size.
Jaden Gardner, former Virginia Cavalier, checking in for the first time.
Gardner at 6'6". One scout has Gardner ranked as the #1 player that he's seen in this combine so far, based upon the exhibition, the drills that they went through yesterday.
He might have the best pedigree. First team All-ACC tournament. He was phenomenal for Virginia, but they were yet again beaten in the first round of the NCAA tournament by a double-digit seed. Seems like they either go out right away or win it all.
Yeah, it's boom or bust for them, and how about the three there?
Another former FGCU Eagle, Zach Scott, played last year at McNeese State. Knocks down that triple, and suddenly it's a 2-point game.
Nice
and a steal.
Yeah, Scott reaching in.
Williamson. Well, these two have turned things around for the Rockets, an 8-0 run to tie the game. Marquise Davis has come in as well. We got a foul underneath. That is on Davis. 4th team foul on the Rockets. It looks like 2 shots coming up for Reggie Chaney.
Good pickup by you, by the way. I had Chaney as 22. So.
As did I, but he's the only one not wearing his number, and that also looks like the Reggie Chaney that I watched at Houston.
Yes.
So I
did a double take for a second.
Connecting the dots. Chaney 1 out of 2.
Nice handle by Williamson.
A little bit short, but he is impressed so far. Here goes Cheney. Back around to Odeji. Battling with Samuel, he gets contact.
Odeji, the drive, draws the contact. I thought Odeji maybe could have kicked the ball out, but he does pick up the foul, so it ends up well. And that's one of those, that's just a foul. If you're Samuel, you got to just stay home. You can't really commit that foul, and he's going to check out.
So 5 team fouls now for the Rockets. That's something to look at with still nearly 13 minutes to go in the first half. Same officiating crew from game 1. And there's that NBA shot clock violation. These guys all getting used to the 24 seconds still.
That was some solid defense there by Marquise Davis. He didn't let him get the shot away.
Davis out of Oxford, Alabama. Finished up at Arkansas State.
A couple of years of JUCO ball for him before that.
Gibson dumps it low, a flush for Tolbert III.
Nice ball movement. Tolbert waiting in the dunker spot. Doesn't waste the opportunity.
First 2 for Tolbert, and the Rockets have their first lead. It's a 10-1 run overall. Cheney, there's a 3.
Yeah, and Davis was a little bit slow getting around that screen, and that allowed the opportunity for the shot for Cheney.
Adams, that's no good. Rebounded by Carter. Or Gardner, excuse me. Now
Dangerous
a 3 for
pass.
Adams.
But the pass pays off, doesn't it?
Brendan Adams with 8. And it's going the other way.
Thanks to Adams on the defensive end.
That one's short from Gardner. And the rebound bounces out. Rockets ball. So back-to-back threes for the Sixers to regain control.
Great pace out of both these teams. Shot clock did not reset. Now it's going off. They're just going to play on. And the pull-up jumper, so Zach Scott says, who needs a shot clock? Each of these teams, as we mentioned, Evan, have 8 players as opposed to the 7 in the previous game, so they can play with the intensity turned up a little bit more.
Absolutely. We have a little correction to issue. I don't believe that is Cheney in the 34. We're
Well,
not quite sure who that player is. When he made a 3, I said, maybe that's not him. And it turns out it is not, so we're still looking for that information. There's Davis, misses the shot, rebound by Lindo Jr.
Well, I'm sending a text right now to see if we can get clarity on that.
We're going to figure this out, I promise. Gibson trying to pick that pass off intended for Gardner, be 12 to shoot.
Yeah, there have been a couple of variations on the rosters that we were given, and I don't know if it's players. I don't know if it's players having a preference to change a number that finding out it was available, or. In any case, we got a 5-point lead now back for the Sixers.
And steps there for Williamson after the pump fake.
Yeah, that's an unforced mistake that you just cannot make.
Out one short from Adams, or in fact a little strong. Now the rebound. Tolbert draws the foul.
Yeah, like Tolbert, skying amongst everybody to come up with that rebound, but not a great reach-in foul there. You know, and again, we've talked about it. You've lost the battle. Don't limit your ability to win the war by picking up a cheap foul just because you got beat out on a rebound.
Corner three is no good for Scott. Adams with the rebound. Adams in transition. Gardner. Lindo Jr. out of the corner. Otoji. There's Scott from behind. He never saw him coming. Kong in transition. Can't save it. Oh, good chance for a breakaway there for the Rockets.
Well, we're getting word that number 34 is Seneca Knight. Seneca Knight, not even a player that I was told would be at this combine.
Okay,
So,
Seneca Knight is 34. It does not appear that Reggie Chaney is rostered here for the Sixers. We were looking forward to seeing him. Good detective work on your part, Dave. Seneca Knight. wearing
Seneca
number
Knight out of
34.
Illinois State. Played with the Redbirds last year, BYU a year before that, and 3 years at San Jose State prior to that.
Meanwhile, Effie Otoji is going to shoot a pair of free throws here for the Sixers.
And Seneca Knight did shoot nearly 40% from three-point range last year, so he's definitely a guy that will look to shoot it from outside the arc.
Yeah, he's made one here today. Otoji out of SMU last year. He's a Houston native. Makes the second. Lead back out to 7 after the Rockets had briefly reclaimed it. It's now a 10-2 run for the Sixers. Samuel, good vision to find Kong for 3. A little bit strong, rebounded by Knight. Knight in transition. Stops. Puts one up. No, that's an extra step.
Trying to do a little bit too much there with Seneca Knight. And then nobody picked up Sills, who had leaked out.
2 more for Sills, who was on a very good Kansas State team last year that was a 3 seed in the NCAA tournament. Otoji with a jump shot. He's got 4. A good-looking free throw line jumper for the big man.
Yeah, he's a guy a lot of scouts came here to see. A lot of them have him ranked in his top 5, their top 5 amongst the players that are here this week.
And there's a foul on Lindo Jr. reaching in.
And again, if
On
you're
Sills.
just joining us, we talked about it at the top. These players here in this combine, they're playing for an opportunity to possibly get an invite to the G League Elite Camp, get an invite to the NBA Combine, both coming up in a couple of weeks in Chicago. And they're also playing to impress international scouts and see if they can get a job overseas if they don't get a taste of the NBA.
Yeah, this is an international combine. There are scouts from all over the world watching this tournament today. Otoji knocks down the 3, so he goes from the free throw line to a jump shot. And now the three-pointer. He's got the last 7 for the Sixers. Kong for 3. That's no good. And Otoji the rebound. He's kind of taken over this game since coming in. Here's Gardner. Spins, shoots, short. Kong the board.
Kong out of Mankato.
To Gibson for 2.
Scoreboard tightening up again.
Another fairly high-scoring first half, too. We're at 46-42 at halftime of the first game. Could be right around there at this pace.
Yeah, I
Lindo
don't
Jr.
think
a little
Vegas
bit
had a
short.
line on this, but I whatever it was, I think the over's in play.
They got a line on everything these days, Dave. I would not be surprised.
Great
There's 2
ball
more for
movement
Sills.
there. Yeah, that was nice. Nice touch pass from Kong.
So the lead back down to 4. Sixers have been ahead by as much as 8. Knight challenging Kong, steps into a jumper, way off. Samuel with the rebound. Gibson calling the play. It's Sills, kicks it out. 3 for Tolbert the third. That's short. His miss falls right to him. He drives, misses the layup.
Had a gift there with the ball coming right back to him, but couldn't do anything with it.
Now it's Adams who's off to a good start. He lost the handle. It's going the other way.
Adams rejected that screen and then decided he was going to go one-on-one into the corner and just took his eye off of where he was on the court and then ended up losing the handle.
Triple change for the Sixers. Isaiah Moore with his game-high 9 points checks back in. Boogie Anderson also returns. It's Gardner, Adams, Anderson, Knight, and Moore. Here's Gibson for 3. That's in and out. Anderson, hands from Samuel. Anderson keeps it. Now Knight driving baseline, just a bit short. Moore crashing the boards. And it's an and one for Knight after Isaiah Moore got the ball back to him.
Well, Seneca Knight, it's been boom and it's been bust a little bit. I mean, it's more boom than bust. There have been a couple of times when you said, well, maybe he's trying to do a little bit too much. But on that, he showed off all the effort to be able to come up with the and one.
Missed the free throw, but 6 points here in the first half for Spencer Knight, and that is the difference in the game, or Seneca Knight. Spencer Knight was a quarterback at Oklahoma, I think.
That's good knowledge by you.
That's a 3 for Marquise Davis, his first points. Now everybody on the Rockets roster has scored. Sorry, Spencer Knight is a hockey goaltender. Trevor Knight was the Oklahoma quarterback. I'm all over the place here. Seneca Knight, 2 more and a foul.
It's night time right now here in the middle of the afternoon in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Of course, all these players hoping they can be more like Brevin Knight and have a nice long NBA career.
There you go. Knight now tied with Moore for the game high, 9 points. Zach Scott throws one high off the glass, no good. Rebounded by Moore. Throws it ahead to Gardner, who's wide open. Jaden Gardner.
Gardner released right away on that shot. As a result, gets paid off.
Williamson. Kong in the corner. He's been waiting for one to drop. First 3 of the game for Kong, who has 5 points.
35% from outside the arc at Kentucky State for him last year. A guy that the scouts feel is probably projected to be a EuroLeague player to start his career.
Got really long arms. Is Davis way off from 3.
Is it me or is that net on that end consistently been caught up over the rim like that?
You're absolutely right. I think it has. Knight to a wide open Gardner in the corner. Gardner can't make him pay for it. He'll get it right back. No good the second time.
Yeah, that's rare. You get 2 open looks in a row. Usually that second one's going down a high percentage of the time.
Gardner, maybe the premier player at this tournament, missed a couple of wide open looks there. Here's Samuel. He's drawing the one-on-one matchup with Moore. He can't get by him. Now it's Scott.
Scott got away maybe with a travel. Thought he shuffled the feet before he started his move.
Basket doesn't go. Here is Moore. Gardner on the cut. That's his style.
Yeah, that
Jaden
looks
Gardner.
pretty good. Nothing wrong there.
What a great off-ball cut there from the former Cavalier. Also an ECU Pirate to start his career. He grew up in Wake Forest, North Carolina. Kong with 2 more for the Rockets.
This has been fun. I think we are going to be more points on the board in this half than we had in the first game.
Yeah, we're getting close. Here's Anderson. That's no good. His own miss. Second bunny, no good. More tapping it around, but finally the 7-footer Samuel comes up with it. Here was Williamson. Davis in the corner. Pulls up. In and out. Rebounded by Moore. We'll slow it down just a little bit. This has been so high. Fast-paced. Adams gets there himself.
And, you know, there was a little glance there between Moore and Adams when Moore gave the ball to Adams as if he was going to go in to try to get a lob dunk, and Adams ultimately just saw the opportunity for himself, but I think that's what they were looking for to start that play.
Kong heating up for the Rockets. He's got 7 points in a row here. Gardner to Knight, steps into a three. Way strong, it lands right with Isaiah Moore, who bullies his way in over Samuel.
And Isaiah Moore looking to the official like, hey, I thought I got hit on the arm there as well.
He's not worried about that weight difference at all.
No.
He is just getting in there and having his way inside. Really impressive stuff from Moore, and it's a 7-point lead for the Sixers.
He's certainly the one playing more aggressive in that battle in the post.
That was the knock on Samuel in college. Kong again, he can't be stopped. He's keeping the Rockets in this game.
Dare I say he's been King Kong of late? But no, we're not the first to bring that one up.
I would imagine the Kong family watches every broadcast and just wonders when they're going to get to it. He's been terrific, though, King or not. Gardner misses a triple. That's going the other way off of Knight. Sills and Gibson checking back in. Under a minute to play here in the first half.
It's been a fun one.
Umoja Gibson. Kong again. He can't.
Whoa!
He can't miss. He has 13 points in a row for the Rockets.
Unbelievable. He is dialed in right now.
Kong out of Kentucky State. "12 seconds here between the game clock and the shot clock. Adams no good from three. Kong knocks the rebound to Gibson. Tolbert getting out in front, but it was a little ambitious there, and now the Sixers will get the final possession. And we've got almost the same score total points-wise. We have one more total point now from the first half of the first game. Here goes Adams. 7 seconds. It's Cooper for three. That's off. A little bit of time here for Tolbert, but he kicks it down the floor, picks it up, and won't get the shot off in time. It went in, but it will not count. That will keep the Sixers in front. A wildly entertaining first half of basketball between these two teams.
That was really high paced. And how about Kong? I'm pulling up his numbers here. He shot 2 3-pointers all season at Fairmont State. He only played the one game, but he didn't make a three. I mean, it's pretty fantastic.
He looks terrific. A game high 15 for Kong, and it is a 1-point deficit for the Rockets. They were down by as much as 8 in that first half. We'll take a quick break. We'll have reaction in the second half coming up in just a few moments from Duncanville Fieldhouse. Stay with us.
This is what's weird. So I looked at the team stats, but then his stats.
Back here at the Duncanville Fieldhouse, a couple of minutes until we start the second half of basketball between the Sixers in white and the Rockets in blue here in our second game of today's session. Now we'll throw it over to Kendra Sheehan, who is standing by with Sixers head coach Melvin Hunt.
Coach Hunt, it seemed to be a game of runs in this first half, going on 8-0 runs, 10-2 runs. What can you do in the second half to maintain consistency?
Just like you said, run. If our guys consistently run, we used to use the acronym, what is it? Are you in? Are you in? Meaning, have you committed to running? We're kind of running. We're running a little bit. The floor is a little tilted. We're running when we get the basketball, but we're not running back on defense. So if we consistently run, I think it'll help the guys.
You look at Brendan Adams, who had 8 points in the first 10 minutes, Isaiah Moore 9 points in the first 5 minutes. How impactful were those two to getting this team out to a hot start?
Well, you know, you need someone to kind of take the front seat, so to speak, and they're new, they haven't played together, but seeing those two guys do that really kind of calmed the guys down and gave us something we could kind of hang our hat on offensively.
How do you build that continuity with players who have really just had about 24 hours to get to know each other on the floor?
Those car rides over from the hotel are super duper important. It's just seriously, any interactions that you can have always help. But like a big thing is basketball. It's kind of uniform. You can meet a kid over in China, you can meet a kid over in Australia. It's still basketball. So those past interactions they've had with the game, it'll take over in the second half.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
All right.
Back to you, Evan.
Back to Evan.
Thank you, Kendra. Melvin Hunt, over 20 years in the NBA as an assistant coach. He's coached players like Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Trae Young.
Also knows what it's like to be a head coach. 10-13 and an interim role with Denver back in 2014, 2015. And no doubt aspirations for him to get back into a full-time role.
Took over for Brian Shaw with the Nuggets in the spring of 2015. He was part of LeBron James's final 5 years of his first run in Cleveland.
Shortest halftime ever, except for the first half, the first game.
Right back to it. Fortunately, these teams have a little bit more length with 8 players, but even still, they are right back at it. Boogie Anderson to Isaiah Moore, who had 11 points to lead his team in scoring, tied with Seneca Knight. One bounces out. It'll stay with the Sixers, who are in white. They're up by 1 after leading for most of the first half. And Adams no good at the end of the shot clock. And somehow Lindo Jr. comes up with a rebound, gets fouled by Kong Kong.
It's because a lot of people were just mesmerized by that ball going up so high off the rim. Nearly came back through the net when it came down.
Ricky Lindo Jr. will shoot a couple of free throws. Lindo Jr., a teammate of Brendan Adams at George Washington, and is a DC native. There is his first point of today's game.
Lindo Jr. averaged 1.2 blocks last season, averaged over a block a game the season before that as well.
He gets both free throws.
Can defend the paint, can get some steals.
This will go the other way. Cooper, who didn't score but had 5 assists in the first half. And he's got another one.
How about the quicks there on Cooper, too? He goes out to the three-point line, goes back in, then dishes it off.
2 for Anderson, who's got 4. Here's Tolbert. Well, turnaround off the glass is good. Sage Tolbert.
Oh,
Taking the other
Sills.
way, and no!
Oh, man.
Sills misses the jam.
Might have tried to put a little bit too much mustard on that hot dog, Evan.
Kong, who couldn't miss at the end of the first, to Tolbert. That's no good for 3. Sills trying to fight for the rebound, but it ends up with Anderson. Boogie Anderson runs over Kong. That'll go the other way.
And Kong sets himself up for the pass and crash. offensive foul. He's done a little bit of everything here.
Game high 13 points, 5 of 8 from the field, 3 of 6 from downtown.
By the way, a little discrepancy on the numbers from Kong Kong. One stat sheet we looked at only had him playing 1 game last year. The other one had him playing 28 last year.
He just made another 3.
Yeah, he was 31-87 last year in 28 games. And what is he today from three-point range?
He is now 4 of 7 after drilling that one. 16 points.
I mean, clearly you look at Kong Kong, the one thing that strikes you very conspicuously is his size. He's going to have to put on some weight to really be able to be a factor at the next level, but the athletic ability is clearly on display.
Not a bad passer either.
No, he's got good court vision. He handles the ball well. He shoots it well.
Just picked out Sage Tolbert III, and the Rockets have just taken the lead. A 7-0 run here. Samuel pokes it away.
Takes it the distance himself. How
Look
about
at the
Samuel?
big fella.
That was really nice. And looking a little bit more aggressive here than he did in that first half.
A miss.
Couple of blowing dunks.
Yep, Tolbert. Now Kong Kong finally missed one.
Proved he's human.
Adams, he's gone a little cold. That's off the back iron. Lindo Jr., the offensive board. They're playing with the 2 bigs. There's the block for Tolbert III.
Was it Tolbert III or was it Kong Kong that got a hand on it when he took it down low?
That's a good question. Let's find out. It was Kong Kong.
Yeah, Kong Kong might have got a little bit of arm,
Yeah,
too.
I think so. Well, he gets away with it. It's a 9-0 run for the Rockets here. Look at their first multi-possession lead of the game. Gibson running the floor.
I would say they came out of the locker room focused at halftime, but they never went to a locker room.
Davis the 3. That's well short. Lindo Jr. the rebound. Moore was screaming for it. Even Samuel noticed he was open, but they didn't get it to him. And Lindo Jr. draws contact. He will go back to the free throw line.
Well, it's been the speed and athleticism of the Rockets that has been more dominant versus the size here of the Sixers and the White in the second half.
We still haven't seen 2 of the brightest prospects on the Sixers, Odeji and Gardner, in the second half. Lindo Jr. missed the front end. Gets the second. Gibson gets a screen from Tolbert. Mid-range J is no good. Rebound knocked away to Anderson. Anderson to an open Adams. Extra pass. Cooper for 3. Short. They just cannot buy a shot right now. The ball movement's fine.
Yeah, the ball movement's been great. The effort's been great. I was watching Cooper on defense on that previous possession, working his way through screens. He's been battling, but the shots are just not dropping, and everything's suddenly going the right way for Team 4.
How about that from Tolbert? Now Lindo Jr. a triple. That bounces over the backboard. Melvin Hunt having words with Lindo Jr. after that shot. Kong Kong getting ready to check back in along with Williamson. Here's Tolbert, has 6 points here in the second to Samuel. He's fouled by Moore, who just took the foul rather than give up the slam to the big man.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that. Just make sure he's not going to make it.
Well, he's a 27% free throw shooter, so it is not the worst strategy. And Moore did his job.
Yes.
Got the hand in there to knock the ball away.
And that's something that Samuel is going to need to get better at if he wants to play at the next level. He's, his defense has been fantastic. He did see a slight regression in his overall numbers from his last year at Florida Gulf Coast going to Southern Alabama.
Slight jump up in competition there.
Yeah.
He misses both. He's 0 for 4 today. Adams lays it in. Adams, his first points of the second half. A little shot clock issue there.
So a couple of times here.
Yeah, a few extra seconds here for the Rockets. Well, they won't use them. Samuel misses the hook shot. Now it's Anderson.
Both these teams going full throttle. Nice crossover.
And Anderson lays it in off the glass.
Showing off the handle. Gotta love that nickname of Boogie.
Formerly at South Dakota, then a year at Southeastern Louisiana. Contested three from Williamson. Cooper was right in his face. Sixers starting to figure it out. Chance to take the lead here. Cooper the lob, Moore catches, and forces it through. His first points of the second half. He's got 13.
It's a nice option to have there. You got a guy with length and athleticism and size. Just put it anywhere near him and he can go get it for you.
Is Zach Scott. The former Eagles connect. There's Samuel inside.
Not much Seneca Knight could do about that. Samuel's going to win that size battle every time.
Anderson to Knight. Had a great first half with 11 points. Leaks out a pass to the corner. Cooper, way strong. Cooper still has not scored, despite all the good he's done otherwise, as Davis missed the bunny, but it's put back in by Tolbert, who has 8 points in the second half, 12 for the game. We'll get a timeout.
Yeah, both these sides just running up and down the floor and probably needing a little bit of a breather, as there really haven't been many stoppages in this second half. And if you're sitting there over on Melvin Hunt's bench, you got to be saying, hey, come on, we've got to string together a couple of solid possessions. We've gotten some good looks. The shots just haven't dropped.
So many interesting stories here at the NTX International Combine. Among those on the Rocket side of things, former Oklahoma Sooner Umoja Gibson. For more on him, we'll go to Kendra.
Thanks, Evan. One of the things Gibson is known for is his unbelievable work ethic. He credits that to watching his grandmother, who didn't own a car and would walk to her job every morning to help support their family. He did his best to apply that same work ethic to his life goals, one day playing in the NBA. Now, freshman year at North Texas, Gibson suffered a season-ending ankle injury, which he said brought him to a dark place, but he refused to let that keep him down. He said he's been beating the odds his entire life. He used that work ethic to train harder than ever before, and that's something that players and coaches since have always expressed. One thing about Gibson, he will never stop working. Evan?
2,000-point career college scorer. You don't get that way without working hard. Thanks, Kendra. Led DePaul in scoring last year, 16 a game. He was all Big 12 honorable mention for Oklahoma the year before. Started his career at North Texas.
428 career-made threes, 15th all-time.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Has not really had his shot so far here today, but he's done a lot of good facilitating.
Projected to be a guy who's going to be in the G League. He went to Portsmouth, and that's not it's not a projection that is necessarily a bad thing. You get to be in the G League, you get to be in the NBA system, and that has proven to be a very productive feeder system for the NBA.
Teams are going to it more and more and more, and now you're seeing stuff like G League Ignite as Odaji makes his entrance known with
Odaji might have gotten away with a push-off. I'd like to see that again. Might have been a flop. That's obviously what the officials saw, but no question that Odaji did push off.
Odeji and Gardner in the game here for the Sixers. Tolbert trying for another one. That's knocked away. Sixers with the ball down 1. Here is Gardner. Kong gets a hand on it. Yet again, that length causing problems.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for him is going to be, can he put on some weight?
Well, that time he misses 3 shots.
I look at Kong and I see Bones Highland. You know, and Bones has been able to be a productive player, just finished his 2nd year in the NBA. I don't know if Kong is quite as skilled as Bones Highland, but, you know, similar type of build and you know, a guy that's got the athleticism that gives you a good foundation.
Seneca Knight just scored one falling over. He's got 13. Williamson to the cup, knocked away by Anderson. It'll stay with the Rockets with 8 to shoot as they have coughed up the lead here.
Nice job defending without fouling there by Boogie Anderson as Williamson tried to keep him on his hip.
Scott just hurls it up, wanted the call and didn't get it.
No. He wanted 3 free throws.
Steady gets a missed shot, and the other team has the ball. Here's Gardner. He's looking for that 3. He's 0 for 4 now. And we got a foul.
The way the whistles have been getting called here or not getting blown, you really have to do something egregious to get a foul call in this game.
And just 5 total team fouls on my board here through 9 minutes of the second half. Odeji makes the first. He's a good-looking player.
Yeah, Odeji, as I mentioned, a guy that a lot of scouts here are really high on. Played the last year of his college career right down the road from where we are here in Dallas at SMU.
Can he play the 4 at the next level, being just 6'8"? Hits both free throws to get to 11 points. And he's played the fewest minutes of anybody on his team. He's been impactful on the floor.
Well, and here's the other thing, you know, with a lot of these guys we talked about, Evan. You know, if you're talking about prospects that are 18, 19, 20 years old, there's still a chance that they're going to grow to be a little bit bigger. You're looking at Efe Odeji at 6'8". He's going to be 6'8". Yep. He's 24 years old.
Adams with a deep 3 to put the Sixers up by 6. And it's thrown away by Kong. A little miscommunication there.
Yeah, he thought that the corner 3 was going to be in play there for Tolbert. Instead, Tolbert was cut into the basket.
Adams, Anderson, Gardner, Knight, and Odeji for the Sixers. Adams has 15 after that last 3. Dumps it to Odeji. That's too easy. 13 for the big fella. That is a fun-looking pick and roll between those two.
Yeah, and the Sixers starting to now again take advantage of their size.
Tolbert corner triple. Short, gets his own miss, and rocks the rim again.
Didn't miss the dunk that time. He had missed 2 earlier in this half.
He does have 10 points in the second half here.
Should have 14.
Anderson, little floater, no good. Here's Gibson. A lob. Davis!
Nice heads-up court awareness there by Gibson. That's the thing that impresses you about these guys, right? A lot of them just met for the first time yesterday, but their athleticism and their basketball instincts allow them just to be able to get on the court and play like that.
I got to tell you, if you ask me between the 2 games which player caught my eye the most, it might be 25 in white. That is some all-around forward they've got there in Efe Odeji.
Yeah, he has been impressive. And the way he's played, he's not looking to me like a guy that I'd be worried about that size.
Knight, no good. Odeji gets the offensive rebound.
Yeah, another one right there.
Underneath the basket and draws the foul. They just don't have an answer for him, especially with Samuel out of the game.
Well, he's happy to be playing in Texas, no question, from Houston. And good basketball lineage for him as well. His mom and his aunt both played Division I basketball.
Wow. Samuel comes back in. Kong and Tolbert III hit the bench. Zach Scott also returning for the Rockets, as a game that they were leading not that long ago is threatening to slip away from them here.
This one's been much more tightly contested than that first game of the day.
Yeah, the Spurs team was well ahead of the Grizzlies for most of that one.
Deep three.
Gibson, well, he's 15th all-time in made collegiate threes, but he doesn't get to that one from way outside.
Yeah, I'm going to suspect not a lot of those threes in college were that deep.
Especially when you get a few more feet.
That's Steph Curry range right there.
There's a reason they call it Steph Curry range, because nobody else can do it.
Maybe Damian Lillard on occasion.
Odeji going for 20 points. Well, maybe not that.
Odeji a little bit frustrated there, as thought one of his teammates had a chance to maybe try and get the basketball. Everybody just let it go out of bounds.
Here's Desi Sills to Gibson. Still looking for a shot here in Duncanville.
Good awareness on the switch there.
The pick and roll with Samuel. Odeji stays in front of him. Samuel's little bunny is short. And the rebound by Adams. Anderson accelerates with the left hand. Too strong. Knight flying in, but Samuel comes up with the board. And then Anderson nearly poking it out from behind. Now it's Sills in transition. Desi Sills puts it in for two. He has 8.
And back to just a 5-point game here, Evan.
Yeah, these two teams are pretty close to each other, and it's interesting because you figure it's not designed this way, being a combine, with a different purpose than the results of the games. But the two teams kind of have different identities. As Gardner gets in here and draws the foul on Samuel, the Sixers are big, and the Rockets seem to be a little bit more athletic.
I am curious, and I'm going to need to find out. I want to know how these teams were assembled, how the process of deciding which player would be with which coach was determined.
Gardner hits the first of 2 free throws. Jaden Gardner, another guy who should have a long and fruitful professional basketball career wherever he ends up. Gets both free throws to push the lead back out to 7. 7 minutes to play. Gibson running the show for the Rockets. Down low, Sills on the cut, everything but the finish. Gardner the other way. Gets his own miss, 3rd time no good. Davis taps it out, and now they're out and running. Sills, Davis, missed the lob. Now things are starting to get out of control.
They've missed so many shots right at the rim.
And Gardner the and one to end the sequence in favor of the Sixers.
And finally a whistle, and I was going to say, Evan, I don't know if the officials have early dinner reservations or not, but there are not a lot of whistles being blown. They're certainly letting them play.
Some good eats in this town, so I hear.
This is a great town for a lot of things.
I've spent more time in Dallas in the last 24 hours than I had in my whole life previously, so time to go check something out, I guess.
Yeah, this was home to me at one time, so I can tell you firsthand, this is you can find whatever you're looking for in this city.
Gardner's got 9 after making the free throw, and just like that, it's a 10-point game, and the Sixers have their largest lead of the afternoon. Gibson to 3. Well, they really needed that to go. Gibson has just not found his three-pointer. Knight in transition. Kicks out to an open Gardner. One more pass, Lindo Jr. from the corner. That's no good, and Gibson gets the rebound.
Yeah, I don't know if that's really what Lindo Jr. is here to do. 23% last year from outside the arc.
Gibson trying a fancy move on Adams, who did not appreciate it and stayed in front of him. Kong on the drive, throws one up. It's blocked by Lindo Jr. That's what he's here to do.
This has gotten a little bit wild, though, Evan.
Gardner, he'll go to the line.
I mean, both teams are really playing awfully loosey-goosey, and I think it's been fueled in part because the officials are saying we're just going to let them play.
And Jaden Gardner starting to take over here. He has the last 5 points of the game and a chance for 2 more. First is good. That'll get him into double figures for the day, despite the fact that he spent a good chunk of the first and second halves starting on the bench.
Yeah, Gardner was some stuff to prove, though, even though he's the guy that the scouts are highest on here. I mean, he was first team All-ACC in 21, dropped to third team in 22, did not make All-ACC in 2023.
Tolbert the third, counted and a foul, a badly needed bucket for the Rockets. And Tolbert has been the source of most of their points in this second half. He has 12 since the break. Again, we've seen the trend, too, of the second half being lower scoring than the first half.
And sloppier, which is unusual. You would think that they would have, gotten a little bit more familiarity after they get a little bit of run in.
Sage Tolbert the third. Out of San Jose State.
Yeah, he really played all over the country, right? 2 years at Southeast Missouri, then 2 years at Temple. So Midwest, East Coast, and then West Coast.
He's originally out of New Orleans, so he's been everywhere. Thrown away by Knight. Chance for the Rockets to get back in this here with over 5 minutes to go.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Seneca Knight was thinking there. There wasn't anybody that was even looking to cut to the spot he threw the basketball.
3 guards and no center here for Mike James and the Rockets. Sills a deep 3. That's good. Desi Sills picked a heck of a time for the three-pointer.
Well,
6-point game.
Mike James was a guard, so he's going to give the backcourt some love.
Meanwhile, 2 bigs and 2 wings in the game for Melvin Hunt. And an offensive foul on Moore.
Umoja Gibson right there. Gibson from down the road in Waco, Texas.
Gibson pulls up, in and out. Tolbert. They're going to keep it.
Chance maybe to get it back to 1 possession here, Evan.
This was a 12-point game about a minute and a half ago. Sills ducks under Moore, then throws it off of his arm. They'll have...
I was kind of surprised Sills turned down
They
that.
haven't stopped the clock.
Now they do. They're listening to you.
He just let about 5 seconds bleed off the clock with the ball out of play. Well, the results are not the important thing here, so. There's Sills again. And how about this fight back from the Rockets? A 9-0 run to get it down to 3.
It's been impressive. And I really like the fact that Desi Sills has been starting to show off his ability as well.
Moore knocked away by Williamson. Davian Williamson, 1-point game. Timeout. The Rockets have made this a ball game again, down by 12 with under 6 minutes to go. They now trail by just 1.
What a pendulum we've seen swinging here in this game, right? I mean, the size of Team 3 was dominating early, and then towards the end of that first half, it was the Rockets' quickness that was taking over. And then In the second half, it was the size of the Sixers again. And now the adjustment made to go with the three-guard lineup, and it's paid dividends. Who's going to make the final adjustments here?
Desi Sills, the key to this run by the Rockets to get back into it. For more on him, we'll go to Kendra.
Desi Sills has found his motivation for reaching his dreams from his mother, a single mom who worked as many shifts as possible to provide for her 5 children. Now, Sills self-described himself as a bad boy growing up, but everything changed when he picked up a basketball. He said instead of looking for trouble, he would look for additional pickup games, saying, honestly, I don't know where I'd be without this sport. Now he turns his focus to playing at the next level, playing in combines to get himself noticed, for the opportunity to give back to his mom, who he said gave him everything growing up. Evan?
Thanks, Kendra. Desi Sills, close to achieving a dream, become a professional basketball player. Former Kansas State Wildcat. What a fun team that was to watch. I don't know how much Big 12 basketball you watched. That was the conference of college basketball that I watched more than any other because it was just so much fun. It's such a great league this year.
Yeah, I didn't see a ton, but there's no question that Desi was one of the highlights this season.
Jaron Holmes, who we saw in the first game from Iowa State, was in that league. Gibson, Sills' backcourt mate here, was at Oklahoma.
Nice job defending without fouling by Samuel. He stayed home there.
Gibson for the lead. Short. Samuel the board. Missed it short.
And he rushed it.
Tipped out.
He rushed the shot, Evan. He got the basketball, and he, rather than just stay collected, you know, obviously you can't wait too long, but don't rush it. Give yourself a quarter of a second to get a good shot off instead of just trying to rush it like you did.
They do keep the ball, but only for a moment. Moore knocking away the entry pass. It's down to Adams for the Sixers. This is starting to get a little bit more intensity in terms of really looking at the score here for these two teams. Gardner to Moore for the flush. 15 for Moore, and a little bit of breathing room for the Sixers.
Well, you know, you talked about it. The player that impressed us the most in this game may have been Efe Odeji. And if this game really, if the final result mattered.
Oh, look at Sills to tie the game.
If the final result mattered, I think we'd see Odeji on the floor right now.
Yeah, I think so too. Sills ties it up. And a steal. Here goes Tolbert all alone. He's not going to miss that one. 19 for Tolbert, 15 in the second half, and the Rockets are on a 16-2 run to take the lead.
Impressive desire and aggressiveness by the Rockets.
Pull up three, Adams knocks it down, what a big shot.
All set up by that screen that was set high out at the top of the arc by Moore.
Another pull up three, Sills is blocked, Moore got a piece of it. Sills wanted the call, he didn't get it. Sixers by 1 with the ball, here is Knight. Fighting through, and a travel,
Yeah.
yes indeed.
You know, Knight picked up his dribble and he had nowhere to go. And at first, when Knight came down the court, the only player that was in front of him was Kong, and I think his eyes lit up. He thought he'd be able to get around Kong because of Kong's lack of size, but then the rest of the team got down there to stave him off, and then he picked up the dribble, had nowhere to go.
Rockets down a bucket. Looking to regain the lead. Here is Gibson to the corner. Kong, so big for them, keeping them in the game in the first half. Sills for the lead, short, rebound Moore. And they're going to run some clock here. Well, these guys are all competitors, and while this is a combine and they're showing out for scouts, they want to win the game as well.
And Lindo Jr. on the way down the court tells the official, good non-call.
Adams, that's a three. It's no good, tapped out of bounds. Last touch by Lindo Jr. And we'll get a timeout with 47 seconds left, and it's a 1-point game.
Well, I'll tell you what, the fans that are here, and there are some fans here in addition to the scouts, they're certainly looking forward to seeing a dramatic finish. And this one's certainly on track to possibly be that. What game Moore's had, but Sills, the shooting of Desi Sills has really been a catalyst for getting the Rockets back into this one.
And then this was Adams to retake the lead for the Sixers after Tolbert's dunk had briefly put the Rockets ahead. And what a great chance for these guys to show out in an endgame situation here where it's close. And
also a chance for Melvin Hunt and Mike James to show off what they can draw up here.
Absolutely.
I don't know how much they've had a chance to work on an end-of-game situation with these players and the limited practice time that they had. But again, you know, I alluded to it, Evan. It's like, you know, if you throw elite musicians on stage together, they may have never met, but they're going to be able to play and play fantastically because they're so good at their craft. That's where the level that these players are at. They haven't spent a ton of time together, and sure, could it be better if they had more time together? Of course. But they can just get out there and let the instincts take over.
All of these young men with a mind to become professionals. They're at this combine because they have the ability. Here we go. Rockets down one. Kong will bring it up. It's Gibson, Sills, Kong, Tolbert, and Samuel. Here is Gibson. Gets the screen. There's the switch. Odeji does come into the game. Guarding Gibson. 7 to shoot. Tolbert, a 3. Off the back iron. Sills gets the board. And stolen away by Adams.
Wow, what great hustle by Adams to come up with the basketball. And credit Odeji, too. Odeji really did a great job staying in front of Gibson on that switch.
They've got to foul Adams here, 8.8 seconds, and probably not quite the intensity you would see in a competitive game, but we'll have Adams shoot that 1-and-1 bonus.
Odeji's done a lot of impressive things today, but staying in front of Gibson and not fouling there really showed me a lot.
Telling you what a player he is. Adams off the back here with the first free throw, but he gets his own miss, and he'll get to try again.
Huge follow on the miss by Adams.
That might have saved it for the Sixers right there.
Well, still enough time. You can advance the ball with a timeout. So even if he makes both, it's still going to be a one-possession game.
Yeah, the Rockets are going to have their opportunity. Now it's 2 shots with the second in the last 2 minutes. Second is no good. And another offensive rebound, and Odeji throws it in to win it.
And of course, it's Effie Odeji wrapping things up.
19 for Odeji. The offensive rebound and the follow on the missed free throw, and the Sixers survive a heroic comeback from the Rockets. What a game.
Melvin Hunt said enough of this. You know what? I'm going to put Odeji back out on the floor because even though it doesn't matter, I still want to win. And Odeji, a whole lot of want to, did it on both ends of the floor. What a performance by him.
What a player. Out of SMU, he's an exciting prospect. And he thrilled. Didn't really play a ton of minutes compared to some of the other guys in this game, but when he was out there, he was absolutely terrific. And we're going to have Kendra Sheehan with Effie Odeji in just a moment here to react to what was really a very thrilling second game of our Wednesday afternoon session at the NTX Combine. All right, let's go to Kendra with Effie Odeji after this win for the Sixers.
What a win for this team in your first game here. 19 points for you. What were you able to unleash on this court today?
Oh, man. Just playing hard, just trying to play as hard as I can. I mean, I wasn't even focused on any stat. I didn't even know I had 19. I'm just trying to play as hard as I can out here. That's what I bring. That's what I'm bringing, and that's what I'm going to continue to bring, playing hard.
You were so versatile out there. You had the points, you had the rebounds, you were also disciplined, you limited your fouls. How are you able to put together such a complete game with a group of guys that you've played with for less than 24 hours?
Well, coach, hats off to coach. He made some good calls. He seen matchups out there that we could take advantage of, and when he seen that, he pointed it out and we executed. I mean, just a good group of guys that know the game and have a high IQ, so it was kind of easy from that point. The coach just told us what he wanted and we gave it to him.
When you look at your basketball career, unranked out of high school, then you transfer a few places, 3-star ranking to SMU, and now you're here looking for your opportunity to play professional basketball. What type of impact does this combine give for you and allow you to reach your dreams of playing in the professionals?
Oh, well, like you said, I mean, coming out of high school unranked, I mean, no real direction as far as where I was going to go. I've kind of been like that my whole life, even going into SMU. So, I mean, it's just putting in the work, being in front of the eyes that you need to be in front of, and, you know, letting your work speak for itself.
How much does that chip on your shoulder allow you to come out and give 100% effort every time you step on the floor?
Man, it's like a big building now. It was a little chip. Now it's like a Eiffel Tower. I mean, it gets bigger and bigger on my shoulder every day, every time I come out here and compete. So, I mean, I'm just going to keep growing that chip and keep having that edge.
Congratulations. We'll see you tomorrow. Get some rest. Yes, Evan, back to you.
Official line on Otoji, 18 points on 7 shots and 9 rebounds in 15 minutes. He was absolutely dominant when he was out there. That was fun to watch. Dave, a great first day here at the NTX International Combine, and now we get to look forward to tomorrow, day 2 at 1:30 p.m. Central, 2:30 Eastern Time.
Yeah, they'll shuffle the deck tomorrow, and you know, it's not quite a true round robin. Not every team plays every other team, but they will shuffle it up tomorrow, and we'll get a look at how the teams fare with a little bit of a different look. But I'll tell you what, man, Otoji was impressive. There were a couple of guys that really stood out. I thought Desi Sills was really fun to watch late in that game. You know, Kong in the first half was good. He had some moments. So there's a number of players here that I think scouts are probably saying, oh, you know what? I didn't know that guy had that. Let's see what they can do in day 2 tomorrow.
All right, we'll enjoy it and look forward to it tomorrow, 2:30 Eastern, 1:30 Central from here in Duncanville, Texas. Second day of the NTX International Combine. For Dave Benz, Kendra Sheehan, and all of us, my name's Evan Weston. Thank you so much for joining us. And we'll show you the final statistics here quick before we throw things out. See if we can get that. Here we go. You see the final numbers, 11 steals for the Rockets. They were very active defensively in that game, but overall did not have enough on the other end to counteract the big size of the Sixers. Got to the line 23 times compared to just 7 for the Rockets, and in the end that was a huge part of the difference of the game. Now you see the free throw disparity.
And the field goal shooting percentage. And how about the fact that, you know, just more shots were taken by the Rockets? That, you know, that's kind of an astounding number to me, to be honest with you, the fact that the Rockets got up that many more shots.
I agree. They just didn't make enough of them, unfortunately, and that was the end of the game for them. But, well, incredible comeback, down 12 with 5.5 minutes to go to briefly take the lead near the end.
Fun one. Fun day, no question, and we'll look forward to more of it tomorrow.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow, 2:30 Eastern, 1:30 Central, here on YouTube. For Dave and Kendra, I'm Evan. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon, everybody.